Art is an expression of your soul. Everybody is an artist. We're born artists, and children need to be nurtured to know that they are artists and that they are free to draw anything or paint anything or weave anything or build anything, and it's part of their true nature. I'm Geraldine Robarts, and I'm an artist. I come from generations of artists. I was lucky in that from the age of 2, I sat next to my lovely grandmother, who was a fashion designer. It's a very interesting thing to paint, to draw and to paint, because it is like prayer. You are worshipping your creator. When I'm painting in the studio, I'm fully focused on what I'm doing, that my focus becomes an out-of-body experience. My faith keeps me going. It inspires me. When I was about 10 years old and I was walking on the beach, and I looked up at the horizon and I thought to myself, heaven and earth, you know, the earth is still under the sea. Heaven and earth, on that line is where God lives. And when we do the sea paintings and the garden paintings, you will see I've put in that horizon, so showing again my belief that heaven and earth, God is on the horizon. Well, I've always loved teaching, and in school holidays, I used to teach children, other children, because I loved teaching them, and parents wanted me to teach them. So, yeah, I put myself through university by teaching painting during the week, teaching on the weekend. That was high school days, varsity days. So teaching, I think there's something innate in me. Well, teaching has also been necessary, that I teach some of my students, not only about art, and it's very exciting when you have a school like in Uganda, St. Henry's Kitovu, where the sculpture, 20-foot high sculpture of St. Henry is made by boys from Form 1, 2, 3 and 4 working together on the sculpture. They also collected orphan animals, and they had 10 acres where the orphan animals were kept so that they could draw them, paint them, sculpt them, weave them, make all kinds of materials, banana fiber, which I will show you examples of. And that is how it should be. Art should be the center of the curriculum. There is so much freedom of expression that, again, that freedom of expression has to have a meaning. It has to have a lasting purpose, not just for today. This work, hopefully, I know people who've got my work going back to 1955, even older than the peeps at the door. And, you know, it's exciting. I have a portfolio which goes back to when I was about 13. So these treasures are for someone to enjoy. So I enjoy creating them, you enjoy living with them. So that moment where somebody bonds with your work, and then you have given them something, you have made their lives better. So one by one, you make other people's lives better, therefore you're making the world better. They then in turn have something that they can share. Okay, and so it goes. And it's like one drop, it just spreads. There's so much fear in starting a blank white canvas, and so much questioning about the process. I know I can do it this way or that way or the other way, or try something new. And I paint a lot with my fingers and with my hands and with the side of my hand. And sometimes it looks as if I painted with my nose, because I look in the mirror and there's a completely blue nose or yellow mouth or something. Sometimes right in my mouth. I must have put the brush or held the brush while I picked up another one. And usually I have several brushes in my hands. Painting is like childbirth. It really is like childbirth. And you have all those contractions in order to paint. But once you get going, it all just relaxes and flows. It definitely is therapeutic, because selfishly, there is nothing else in the world that I'd rather be doing. One day, for no reason, in this last year, 2024, I painted a woman giving birth with the midwife receiving the baby. And my people here said, why is she doing that? And I love that painting. I'll show it to you. And it wasn't meant to be anything. It was just meant to be that moment. I'm now an abstract painter. So basically, I have an idea, say my garden, as you see next door in the gallery, and I paint my garden, then I go to Diani, I come back, I paint the sea, because the ocean is in me. I love it. Look, I'm blessed with my faith, but let me tell you what my faith says. As your faith is, so shall your powers and blessings be. As your faith is, so shall your powers and blessings be. No faith, no blessings, no power. What do you want to go without it for? I'm telling you something that I know it works. How can I be sitting here at 86 and still working? How is it possible? Without my faith, would I be here? Women empowerment. That's such an exciting topic, because it's something that's really taken off, as you know. And the first time that I went into the villages of Uganda was 1964. And the women of this village came out, and we started with lots of cloth. We gave everybody a cloth and a t-shirt, and we showed them different ways in which you could start tying your cloth, but you were also free to put bottle tops in or tie knots in it or fold it, or all the 101 ways in which you can do tie and dye. Don't forget, this is 1964. And she brought along a big bathtub. We managed to get enough water. And she brought along the dyes. So don't forget, I'm learning from her. I try to assist with the tying. I enjoy the women who've come along, and they were very eager to learn. And we produced some magnificent results, and letting them dry, and I think coming the following week, where they had opened them, and their great excitement to see the different colors. Now to go to the market and see if they can sell them. How can we make this so that they earn a few shillings and see a better life for themselves. And I thought, well, maybe 5 years, 10 years, and it will be out of fashion. Boy, was I wrong. Look, everybody's still doing it today, worldwide. So this terrific fun, which started in a village in Uganda by this Afro-American lady and myself, has spread and spread and spread, and it has earned lots and lots of money for these women's groups. I was invited in 1990, when I was teaching at Kenyatta University, to help the late Mrs. Susan Mwendwa, who had a women's group in Kitui, or several women's groups. I mean, 100-kilometer radius I worked in it. So, and she would phone me up every morning at 7 o'clock to pick my brain to see what ideas I had, and which all went into her business. But anyway, she was very kind to me and stayed in her house, ate her food, and taught her women. And gosh, the women's groups, from people who had bought an acre of land, a women's group, and they thought it was really tough weighing babies in the hot sun, and also the amount of diseases from carrying the water up from the riverbed. So this health center, they had actually built it up to the ring beam, okay? But they had no money for a roof. But it was very impressive to see what they had done with their own money. So I thought, okay, a roof. How do we get this roof on here? So I spoke to some people in Nairobi. So I said, we need 30,000 shillings to put a roof on, okay? And I said, come out, see what they've done, talk to the women and see what their aspirations are. So I brought about 5 women from different embassies, and they were super impressed with these women who had, with bare hands, built this up to the ring beam. So 30,000 was pocket money for them, and we put a roof on. And in no time, the babies were, you tie a rope here on the beam, and you have the baby being weighed not in the boiling sun. And this health center grew and grew and grew. And these people have become my best friends. Josephine Mailu, she calls me up still, and I still assist with all kinds of bits and pieces that they need. Wealth creation is by sharing. And that's not by giving somebody something for nothing. It's by teaming up. The more you realize that you're a team, the better. When I look at nature, I am very happy with my garden, and gardening every day just brings me so much joy, because it is the spirit that creates the form in my paintings. When I have little children here, beginning of primary school or younger, I say, okay, here is your piece of paper. No paints, no pencils. I want you to go around the garden and pick a yellow, a red, a pink flower, okay, bring it back. And then I show them, you just squeeze the flower and draw. Usually if it's a pink flower, out comes your pink, a yellow flower, out comes your yellow. And they are amazed. I said, now go and teach your teacher. And the teachers don't know where pigments come from. And they come from the earth. I had an exhibition for Mao Forest when Mao Forest was being cut down. And we actually got Mao Forest to give saplings to the exhibition. So the exhibition was all trees, paintings of trees. And then people bought them, and then we bought hundreds more trees to be planted by the youth. Everybody took an indigenous tree home, and then that tree brought many, many saplings, which then there was a project to have the youth, school leavers, to go out and replant Mao Forest, which is the water catchment area for Kenya. That's what goes into Lake Victoria. You can see the fun I've had. And really, if you don't have fun in your life, you know, if art isn't about enjoying your life, if it isn't a way of giving the artist pleasure in creating something new and giving that something new to others and to the world, and in this case to China. If I'm not giving you something, what am I doing here?